Hello there, my darlings. Welcome to my Great Vault video. Today is Tuesday, December 26th for me, as I am recording this video. And it is indeed the day after Christmas. I hope you all had a lovely holiday. This is the day that I get to share what is in my vault, but also I would like to share anything else that has happened last week, both in-game and the real world. And it is a time for you as the viewer to share all the things that you are grateful for as well. Something that's special about this vault is that I only did one key last week. So that means I only have one item to choose from the Mythic Plus portion of the vault. I did complete the Heroic Raid last week, so we have 3 options from the raid. We shall see what kind of luck we have, if maybe one key was enough to get us something useful. I will also share at the end of the video about why I did one key last week, so stick around. And before I open the vault, I like to start off with taking a look at the gear that I do have currently and perhaps manifest something that I still need to get as an upgrade. So I already know that I have a 4 set, but a few pieces that I would like to replace into myth track would be my helmet, because it's still on the hero track, but I probably might not have to replace this if I don't have a socket in the new myth track tier helmet. So we can probably hang on to the helmet that I have equipped right now for a little while, and then I have the myth track shoulder, so that's something that I don't need to be replaced. But as far as the chest piece and the gloves, they're both on hero track, so I'm more than willing to replace both of them with some myth track tier pieces instead. Anything else I have equipped that I should replace? I'm still wishing for the Dark Thicket ring that has a lot of mastery instead of a lot of crit this time, so that would be great. The one that I'm currently wearing is from Dark Thicket, but it is not the one that I was aiming for. And looking at my gear, it looks like a lot of the pieces that I have on are pretty much BIS. Last week we chose the belt in the vault. It has a lot of avoidance, very useful. It's on myth track. And last week during the raid, I did indeed get Nimue's trinket, which is one of the pieces that I wanted to get in the vault that week, but it dropped in the raid instead. I did post a short video about the marvelous luck that I've been given to receive this trinket. So yeah, I'm not really targeting this trinket anymore, at least from the heroic raid. So looking at everything else, I think everything that I'm wearing is pretty much BIS. I've gotten this cloak from the raid last week as well. It has a good chunk of mastery on it, and everything else seems pretty good. As far as hero track, I'm pretty much wearing everything that's BIS that I could get from the raid. So the only thing I could possibly get is perhaps something from Mythic Plus, which will be on myth track. So like I said, the ring from Dark Thicket with mastery is one of my primary targets from now on from the dungeons. We might end up choosing just the tokens for a socket, so that is also a possibility. But yes, that is the end of me looking at the gear that I still need, and we will proceed by opening the vault. Alright, as usual, we're going to start from the very top left from the raid. We've got the bracers with speed, the wellspring wristlets, and looking at the bracers that I have on currently, I don't think I'm going to be replacing my bracers, even if there's speed on the ones that I'm looking at in the vault. And then next up we have a pair of boots. Pleats of the Savage Claw, crit and high haste. My boots are actually BIS with haste and high mastery, so they're both on hero track, but I prefer the stats on the boots that I'm wearing, so I don't think I'll be choosing these boots. And then we have the leggings, tier pieces. If I did want to wear some tier leggings on this character and replace the ones that I'm wearing currently, which are the crafted ones, this is an option. But I don't think I'm going to, simply because the stats on the Augvoker tier legs aren't that desirable, which is why I have the leggings crafted instead. Mastery is just far superior in this case. So that is all the pieces from the raid. And then the one item that has appeared in my vault from last week's one dungeon that I've completed. We did time that. It is a ring. And which ring are we looking at exactly? It is the Thorn Woven Bend, which isn't exactly the ring that I was looking forward to, but it is the only myth track item in the vault currently. So do I want to choose this ring, or do I want a socket on one of my pieces instead? So we know the drill here. If you're familiar with my channel and these videos, I always check Ask Mr. Robot on this character anyway. I will import the string that I just picked up, and I will go down here to not best in bags, but upgrade finder, and select Great Vault, and then click find upgrades. So this is optimized for raiding. So in this case, it recommends taking the pair of boots and catalyzing them into the tier boots, but I don't know if I really want that. Yeah, it looks like the ring, which is the myth track ring, is the very bottom one here. I'll scroll up. But yeah, this is not looking good for the ring. Let's see if anything changes. If I optimize for Mythic Plus, I'll have to go here, set strategy. For Mythic Plus, it's even worse. It's negative 4.1% decrease or loss in DPS, I suppose, which is a little interesting because Mythic Plus scales the higher you go, and versatility could be actually a lot more desirable to have on your gear, but it doesn't seem like Ask Mr. Robot agrees or really cares for that. Apparently evokers are very tanky, so we don't need that that extra versatility. But if I wanted to have item level over anything, I would probably select the ring, but it seems like the socket might be a little bit more useful because none of these items are really that much of an upgrade according to this. If you see the bar is in red, that means it's not really an upgrade. It just seems like this week I will be passing up on extra item level, so I will not be picking anything from the vault, unfortunately, even though it would be nice to have everything on myth track eventually. I'm not too worried. There are some pieces that I could add a socket to, so that's perfectly fine. Sockets are very valuable, so anything that we can put a socket on, it'll basically cost me 6 tokens to purchase the Nature's Cradle, which allows you to add a socket to a season 3 item that does not already have one. I'm just reading the tooltip. It can be used on helms, bracers, belts, or rings. So my helmet already has a socket. My crafted ring has a socket. The rings that I have here, probably not going to socket. I would wait for a myth track ring. I think it would be the most valuable use of the socket to put on a myth track ring. I still have the option to add a socket to my bracers and my belt, and both of these items are indeed on myth track, so that is a possibility. It looks like I'm just going to be choosing the tokens for now, so that's fine. I'll purchase that right now. I think I'm going to socket my belt, which is a Abyss item. It is the belt from Black Hold, so that is worthy of a socket if you ask me. This mine has Avoidance, which is perfect for Mythic Plus. I do have my Resto Druid on my other server. She is still stuck in LFR content. I just don't have the willpower to be doing much challenging stuff on her just yet. I have not done a single Mythic Plus key on her this season just yet. I'm still recovering from the incredible case of burnout I'm still experiencing. The healing just wipes me out. I barely have enough energy just being a support class on the Evoker. Not because of the playstyle or anything like that. It's not because of the stress in the key. It can get a little spooky, you know, but it's just mostly the amount of backlash I get from the community for playing augmentation. People don't know my reasoning for playing Aug right now. They can be as nasty as they want and blame me for the deterioration of the Mythic Plus balance or whatever they're crying about. But to put it briefly, I'm playing Aug because it is the only thing I can play right now. So I'll just open up my vault I did LFR on this character, so we have 3 options from LFR. We have legs, tier legs for Druid with Leech. Okay. We have a dagger, some haste first on it, and we have a cloak. But I don't care about any of that because the first item is what I'm going to choose. This means that I'll be able to have a 2-set on this character for the new season. I picked up the helmet last week in last week's vault, so I get to pair it up with the pants, at least. It's lovely. So we shall go somewhere a little bit peaceful. A lot of people are walking in this area. Is there another place we can go? We could probably just zoom into this Christmas tree here in the inn. It's good. We have some presents to look at. Actually, it's a little too loud. Let's go here. We're gonna look at the wreath. All right, so this part of the video is the story time portion of my Great Vault video. So this is our little recollection of the things that we are grateful for. I would like to have a video like this every week because there's far too much negativity in the world, and I'd like to focus on the good stuff, the positive things, anything to help our mental health, really, or our health and well-being in general. So this is something that I intend on keeping a tradition on my channel, at least. I'm grateful that you're here and we can share our moments that we're happy about. I'll be talking about some wins from the game and I guess some wins from real life. And I'll start from the game. I think the wins from the game isn't very original because it seems to be something that I could probably say every week, and that is to at least get something done in the game. And that was to complete the raid, get all the raid bosses down, including Farak, which is another win. And I did end up getting 1 key done for the Mythic Plus selection, although you have seen that didn't really matter because I ended up picking up the socket anyway. But I did still do enough content where I got to get 6 tokens instead of 2, for instance, so it was still a win, you know. And yeah, that's a very brief win from the game. In terms of real life, it's a little bit more complicated, and this sort of explains why I only did 1 key. So last week was a bit of a challenge for me, and I doubt that it's really unique to my situation. Last week was pretty hectic for a lot of people, I'm sure. It was leading into the holiday weekend, and you know, we just had Christmas yesterday, so I don't think that a lot of people were able to accomplish much in the game. But for my situation, it wasn't much related to Christmas. It was more just family in general. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I might have shared a few things that set the plot, I guess, of what's been going on in my life. But last week was definitely something that made me want to put the game on the side. I didn't really care to log in much. So basically it has something to do with my dad, and last week I took him to the hospital to get a procedure done, which was an exploratory diagnostic procedure of his heart. They basically went into his veins from his arm and had this little device that was able to see through his veins and his vessels and all that, leading into his heart. And then they found out that he is not in good shape. He's had a heart attack about 10 years ago, and that led him to have an emergency surgery. He got stents in 3 different locations, and last week's procedure confirmed that those stents are not doing him anything good, really. So I've just been on edge every day since I've learned about that. We're expecting a call from another hospital, that specialist, to handle, I guess, a triple bypass surgery for my dad. So I've just been on edge. You know, doing Mythic Plus is something that I can't see myself doing now. Anytime that something serious happens in my life, I'm very hesitant to go do keys because keys are so punishing. If someone has to get up, you know, do something, or there's an emergency, chances are that the key cannot be completed, especially if it's a higher level key. Mythic Plus has been something that's been a highlight in terms of my gaming experience. This is probably the only things that keeps me in the game, and that is Mythic Plus content. But I'm actually afraid to do keys right now because of the uncertainty that is in my life right now. I have to be ready for anything when it comes to what my dad's going through. So, not to mention that I have my own health issues. If you're not familiar, I took a break from gaming a little bit after June this year. It was just not a very good time. I was sick and I have just not been in a good place, so I just decided to get off gaming altogether. Last week was just another reminder of how much I have to prioritize my real life, my real world. So I guess if we're talking about gratitude, it's just me being grateful for making that decision, having enough willpower or whatever it is, strength to not drown myself in distractions by playing this game and being responsible. Even in this video, I'm a little bit on edge because I don't know, it could be any moment, you know, where I have to go and be prepared for what's to come. So I don't really know what to make of this because this whole thing is about me being grateful, you know, but this whole time I'm just being paranoid. I use this game as a form of escapism. A lot of people can relate to that. People do play games to escape all the stress in their lives, and sometimes we need that, but this isn't something that I can just escape and ignore. I don't really know how long I'll be on, how long I'll be doing these keys. Not only that, it's just the fact that I'm playing a spec that just about everyone hates. I pinned a comment about how I don't appreciate people being nasty towards me for playing a spec. Oh, I don't know what the deal is, but if people are so upset that they're targeting me on a video game for playing a spec that they despise, and they start to get so critical of me by going into the logs and looking at every little mistake that I've made, that's weird. I never claimed I'm a perfect gamer. I never did. I'm just playing this game to have a good time. I already know I make mistakes, and I know why. I do have things that are preventing me from performing at my best when I play. I have focus issues because my body is fighting. I have arthritis in my hands. Even though I seem young, I have a lot of inflammation in my joints. Sometimes we have errors happening because our fingers just don't work sometimes. There are plenty of times my fingers just lock up and I can't press my buttons. I will make mistakes. It's autoimmune disorder. Nothing much I can do about it. I do have flare-ups, and my joints aren't the only thing that are affected. My brain, other parts of my body, a lot of pain is going on. So anyway, whatever. That's just basically me just admitting that I have my own issues as well. I'm not a perfect gamer. I'm limited by having to plug everything at the moment. So not everything is going to work optimally. My spec shines when other players are doing their part as well. Augmentation is support spec. We buff people, and if the players that I'm buffing, they're not doing their greatest, I'm not able to do my greatest as well, in addition to the other factors that can affect my performance. So TLDR is I don't want to be defined as a gamer only. I have other hats that I wear. Sometimes gaming is going to suffer a little bit for my life, and that's fine. But yeah, I'm sorry it got a little dark, but what do you expect? I am kind of a vampire over here. Things do get dark, things do get a little macabre. All I know is that the next few months are probably going to be a little life-changing for me. I don't know really what to expect. Kind of a grim vault video, but I don't really know how else to put it. I do admit fantasy is a lot of fun, but sometimes we still have to acknowledge the real world. So that's a little bit of a lesson that I want to remind people of. We don't want to face our troubles in the real world, but I learned that the more that I ignore the real world, the harder it is to deal with it. So I just realized that I forgot to mention the most important part of last week that I'm grateful for. Monday was Christmas, and rather than suffer trying to plug the rest of my keys for all my Mythic Plus reward slots, I decided to spend time with my dad because he was in a very distressed state, reading about all the horrible things that could possibly go wrong with the triple bypass surgery. I just wanted to distract him from all those horrible thoughts because the last thing I wanted was to stress out his heart even more. I'm proud of myself for choosing to spend my Christmas with him rather than some randoms in the game. I'm not sure how much time I have left with him So I would definitely make that same decision every time if I was given the choice. So with that said, I hope you're grateful for whatever you have in the vault, if you have a vault to open. If not, I think it's still a good time to look at other things that you're grateful for, not just in-game rewards. I hope you have an amazing New Year's weekend coming up. So thanks for being here with me. Please share anything you'd like down in the comments, and I hope to see you in the next one.